Hi folks, Angelique Weiley here, and today's topic that we're going to talk about is partnering with HR for your management skills. And you're probably thinking, what does this mean? Why would I need to partner with HR for my management skills? Well, if you think about it, there are so many changes going on in industry and in the workplace nowadays. There's high turnover. Lot of laws are changing for minimum wage. There's a lot of lawsuits that happen in the workplace where employees are suing employers. Gosh, that's happening all the time. There's a lot of injuries, accidents, safety issues that go on in the workplace. There's economic pressures. There are structural and organizational changes that are constantly happening in the marketplace. You think about labor changes, unions, and partnering with HR is a good thing. I mean, if you are a manager or a director or an executive at a business, partnering with HR will change your management style completely. And I say this because as you are juggling costs as a manager, you think about it, HR is doing the same thing. They're juggling their costs. What they're doing is, they're dealing with budget cuts, with salaries, raising healthcare costs, raising costs of benefits, raising laws, with wages. You think about all these minimum wages that are going up. As much as you're trying to juggle costs in your own department, HR is doing the same thing. And if you strategically walk into managing your department with HR in your pocket in that partnership, it makes it a lot easier for both the departments to be able to manage, strategically what's happening in the company together. So, like I was saying, there's so many different changes and rules going on. And nowadays, employees are, starting to get a little privy of a lot of these changes and what's going on. So if you have an organizational culture of having a joint strategy, a strategic HR management strategy for your company, that just makes, it makes everything a lot easier. And I'll give an example. All right, so a lot of you guys know I used to run a medical supply distribution center in the Northwest. And, we had about 100 and some employees that worked at the facility, maybe about between 100 and 150. And, I was constantly talking to HR about safety procedures, and HR was active in recording during our safety meetings to give an HR outlook on a lot of these things, whether it be workman's comp law or hours and wages law. They always would give me suggestions, so I wasn't just blindly, as a director, making my own decisions just based off of operations and my operational costs. I had a partner here helping me making decisions that were best for the employees and for the company. So if you think about it, your organizational culture in your business should be, derived from what HR is thinking about your growth. Whether, it's staffing, hiring, quality over quantity. I mean, especially in a distribution center. Having high performance, having help from HR, set your KPIs, your key performance indicators, and your metrics. How do they recruit? Thinking about culture and values that you should be creating within your department, and then kind of aligning those with what HR is saying are your culture and values of your business. making sure that those are balanced and that they are run parallel with, your core behaviors of your business, and, planning ahead of all the needs that maybe go on in your business. Like, that you're making a huge organizational change and you may lose 25% of your workforce, and working ahead of time with HR on those types of things. Just think of all of the different organizational and cultural core value things you need to be thinking about. Another thing, that I'm thinking about is your performance reviews. It obviously, you want to make sure that you are consistent in what you're doing across the board for your company with performance, but also paying for performance. And then, making sure that employees have input on, the structure, and making sure that employees are paid what they're worth, so you don't have that high turnover. So what I would do is I would work with HR on a quarterly basis and just make sure, are my wages that I'm paying equal to industry standard in our area or our region? Those types of things were very, very important to me. Making sure that I was always thinking and talking to HR about everything, whether it was benchmarking or succession planning, or paying for performance, and at when and where should we give raises to certain people, and that linkage to performance, and planning ahead of all of our needs. Like, if we were going to be putting in a new conveyor belt system or a new process, was I talking to HR and making sure that they were involved in, the cultural changes that could happen with such a huge process change? And then, helping to get the employees prepared for that. And you think about change management in a business. I know that that's a completely different subject than partnering with HR, but part of change management is getting yourself involved and ready for that change and that culture change. So if you are changing a huge process within your business, you have to think about ahead of time, how will the employees react to that? And then getting HR involved to be ready for those changes. Because if you think about it, employees, if they're upset, they're going to be in the HR office often during those changes, and HR is going to be dealing with the impact of what your change could have caused emotionally, and with morale, and with culture, and with values as well. So my biggest suggestion to you is, and I know a lot of people say, oh, get away from HR. I don't, once it's in the HR's office, it's a bad thing. They document everything. Yes, okay, they do. When things go wrong, HR will document. But if you partner and you network with HR from the beginning, you will have better results, and you will have more trust of the business, and you will have better resolve and respect of your situations and your problems that you're dealing with operationally. So think about that first. And if you partner with HR coming into the job right away as a manager, and that's how you manage and lead as a manager and as a leader, you'll have a lot more respect and a lot more organizational planning ahead of time for your business, and you will have just a much more solid business and management style. So that's just my suggestion. Just think of all the things that you could partner with HR on, and that could make your life easier as a manager and make your department a lot more successful in management if you partnered with HR. So just think about that and have a great day.